Hello, 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 everybody. Hey, and Happy New Year. For those of you who are new to my page, I am Jamila, aka the IEP Coach, and this is the Coaching Corner. If you see me turn to my left, I am going live on my IG as well. And if you see me turn and look, I'm on my Instagram. All right. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are live on IG. We are live everywhere else as well. Yes, welcome, 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 everybody, and Happy New Year. It is 2023 now. Happy New Year. I have to say that. Happy New Year to everybody. I pray that you enjoyed the time with your family and friends. And you celebrated safely. Good company, around your loved ones. And hey, you brought in the new year together. Hello, Lynn Wrench 111. Hello, and welcome, welcome, welcome. So, again, I am Jamila, aka the IEP Coach, and this is the Coaching Corner where we discuss all things special education. So as always, if you are catching this on the replay, make sure you put replay in the comments, and also tag anyone that you feel needs to see this, and also share it out right now. I'm about to do that right now. Share it out with as many people as possible, and I'm about to do that right now. All right, so let's share this out with as many people as possible. Share it out, share it out. I'm sharing. Share it out. And as you can see, the ticker going across my screen, make sure you follow the IEP Coach LLC on all social media platforms. Make sure you follow us. Okay? All right, so let's jump into it. So, yesterday I shared a reel, and it focused basically on just some things, teachers and parents need to look for, being the new year. Hello, overwhelmed to organize. Hey, with the new year coming in, there are things that, are coming up for teachers as well as parents. So there are some things you need to be aware of, if you have a child who has an IEP, or even if, you just have a school-age child, you need to be aware of these things that are upcoming. So we're going to focus on events that are upcoming in schools, very, 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 very soon. So, of course, quarter two, depending on where you are, depending on where your child goes to school, quarter two has ended or is about to end. Okay, so some schools, school districts, you're already in quarter three, and some you may have like a couple days left of quarter two, or like a week left of quarter two, and you're about to go into quarter three. So parents, do understand, after quarter three, you just have one more quarter. Okay, so be mindful of that. Hello, is it Jaron Navin? I apologize if I mispronounce your name. Gyro Navin? I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. But hello, and thank you for coming to the Coaching Corner. So, so quarter two is just about ending. So we're more than halfway through the school year. Okay, so know that more than halfway through the school year, it is completed. It's completed. Okay, so you need to be mindful of that, parents. You don't have, it may seem like a long way to go, but we don't have that much longer to go. Some schools end in May, and some schools end in June. So before you know it, those months are going to fly. They're going to fly by. Okay, so just be mindful of the quarter that your school is in. Either you're in quarter three right now, or you're about to start quarter three. All right. Something else that is coming up is report cards. Parents, please make sure that your child's school has your most updated phone number and the email that you check. Please make sure it's the email that you check often. Okay? Because a lot of times schools are sending reminders through email, or they may be sending it through their messaging system, and parents, you don't get it because Either it could be an email, it's going to an old email that you don't use no more, or you don't check your email enough. So make sure you are checking your email. Make sure the school has your most updated email and phone number, just in case you may need to do a conference over the phone. They have your most updated phone number. Okay, make sure that the school has your updated contact information, because in the event of emergency, you want to make sure that you can be reached in an emergency, so if you have to call someone else, you're able to do that because they were able to get through to you. So make sure your child's school has your up-to-date information. And parents, please make sure that you check your emails. That's where a lot of the information goes, to your email. Teachers, send reminders about report card conferences that may be coming up, or anything that's coming up. Like, send reminders, constantly send it. It is not like you have to send it every day. You can schedule the emails. You can schedule the emails to come out later. Like, you can schedule all your emails this week, to go out to parents maybe each day. Send a reminder, schedule it, so that way it's like kind of automated for you, and it's taking work off for you. Okay, so parents, make sure you provide updated information, contact information, and teachers, send reminders. Okay, so report cards. So make sure you are available. Also, depending on the type of school your child goes to, hey, this is quarter 2. You'll be getting the quarter 2 report card. In some places, they do terms. They do term 1, and then you have a term 2. So you're getting like 2 report cards versus 4. And some districts, depending on where your child goes to school. Some charter schools do terms, term 1, term 2. And most public schools, they do 4 quarters. So you get your first report card, second report card, third report card, and normally the 4th report card gets mailed home directly to you. So depending on where your child goes to school, that is where, that is how many report cards you will get for your child. So make sure, parents, you share your availability as well, so that way you can get a time. If it's in-person conferences, or even if it's like virtual, make sure they have your availability, so that way you can get a time that best accommodates your schedule. And what I've seen some schools do, hello Faruha, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. What some districts will do is send a Calendly link or a scheduling link for you to pick the time that you want to come. So parents, make sure you're picking a time that you can actually come to the school. Or if it's virtual and let's say you're at work, see if you can find a time where, hey, you're on a break or on a lunch break or something. Because sometimes, like, the conferences be 15 minutes. It's not a full-fledged meeting. Okay, so that way, if you hear something you don't like, you can then schedule a meeting for at a later day and time. Okay, so next thing is progress reports. So if your child has an IEP, the next round of progress reports can be coming out, or the round of progress. This is the initial round of progress reports that will be coming out. So parents, do know you should be receiving input on how your child is doing with their goals, and a standalone progress report. Now, in some places, all of the goals is on one report. Even if they have related service providers, everything will be on one report. And some places in some institutions, you may get a progress report from the related service providers, and then you get a progress report for all the academic goals. So that will be coming up soon. That is coming down the pipe as well. And again, parents, check for that. They may be sending that electronically, or they may be sending the physical copy home with your child. So check your child's book bag, their homework folder. If your child is not good with giving you information, definitely contact the school to tell them to send it to you electronically, so that way you can receive the information, so that way you know how your child is doing with his or her or their IEP goals. Okay, so still make sure the school has your most updated information, so that way they can contact you and they can send you information that is pertinent to your child. All right. And the next thing, testing. This second half of the year, testing, a lot of testing takes place. You still have some places do benchmarks, and also state testing occurs. It normally occurs, I want to say, um, March or April. And I know in some places they may do a state assessment in May. Because I feel like New York does it in May. I feel like the state exam is in May, and then they have to regents exams, so that way if they perform well on like the science or the math, they don't have to take the intro their freshman year. They won't have to take that intro math or oh, thank you. Overwhelmed to organize. New York is March and April. That's the state exam. Yeah, that's the state exam. But the Regents exam is later. It might be June. The Regents exam may be June. And then the state exam, okay, March and April. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed to organize. I want to say that's the same in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania takes the PSSA. That's in either March or April. Because I know normally, yeah, thank you, overwhelmed to organize. Our spring break kind of alternated with our state testing. So like we would either go on spring break before the state testing or after the state testing. I preferred after the state testing. But yeah, that is also coming up. So benchmarks is coming up for some places, and also you have your state exams coming up this second part of the school year. So if your child has an IEP, you want to make sure that your child's current testing accommodations are working for them. You want to make sure they actually work for them. You want to make sure that they're updated. And parents, you want to make sure you know what they are and that your child is actually getting those accommodations for their assessment. Okay. If your child has a 504 plan and they have testing accommodations in their 504 plan, you want to make sure that the school is including your child in their testing groups to make sure that your child is going to receive the testing accommodations that they need that's listed in their 504 plan. Okay. So you do want to make sure you have that, because just because your child has an IEP, that doesn't necessarily mean that they have testing accommodations. Students can have an IEP and don't require testing accommodations because they don't need it. However, if you know your child needs it, you want to make sure that that is listed in the IEP, and you want to make sure that your child's case manager or whoever handles special education at your child's school, that they have included your child in the group your child is going to be in a proper group to receive their proper testing accommodations. Okay. So again, testing is a big one in the second half. Schools will be doing even test prep, to prepare the students. You want to make, so make sure, again, parents, make sure you're checking your emails, because you're going to get information about these upcoming events. Okay. Another thing that you want to, be mindful of, if your child has an IEP, if your child is like going from middle school to high school, or leaving an elementary school to go to a middle school, you want to see if there is some type of transition assistance, not assistance, if there's some type of transition planning. For example, if your child will be turning the age of 14 over the course of their annual IEP, transition planning needs to be started, will get started. So basically focusing on what your child can do after they graduate. So if this is your child going from middle school to high school, you want to make sure that the transition plan is reflecting some of the things that they will do, like after high school, if they're interested in college or something like that, that the activities and the and what's going to be used to track that data. Like if they're interested in colleges, like it could be an activity that says that in their transition plan that they will research schools that have their majors or something like that. You want to make sure that is in place, especially if your child is high school and will be graduating. You want to make sure that if there's any agencies that your child needs to be involved in, that the school has included that in their transition plan, and that you are connected with agencies so that when they graduate, they can just flow right into whatever work placement or community college or junior college or any type of program that's going to help them after high school. You want to make sure all that is set up, and also that should be stated in the transition plan, because the transition plan is for what they are able to do after high school. Okay. Now, when I was still in the classroom, my students that I had in seventh grade, they were leaving my school building to go to the another building. So they were leaving seventh grade center to go to the eighth grade center. So something I did for transition planning, which is not in their IEP because all of them weren't turning 14. Something that I just did myself, and I got permission from my principal, was we took a trip to the next school that they will go to, because again, I used to be an emotional support teacher, so I wanted them to be able to put a face with a name, be familiar with someone before going to the school. So what we did was I communicated with the possible case manager they would have at their new school, and we set up a visit. I had them write questions down on 3x5 cards, and then she had students that I had in the previous year. They did a tour of the school with my students, and after the tour, they answered the questions that my students had. So, and then they were able to meet like I said, the case manager that they may have the next year, and then they also got to meet the principal of the school. So this helps with transition because it's giving students a like familiar faces when they do start the next school year. It's like, oh, that person isn't like foreign to them. It's like, oh, I met Miss So-and-so, or I met Mr. So-and-so the end of last year. Oh, she knows Miss Bashir. You know what I mean? It kind of eases that anxiety for students. And something that I did for the students that I would receive the next year, I communicated with the case manager for sixth grade. And I picked two students who were mature enough for my caseload to take the students on a tour and answer their questions. So I basically did what the eighth graders did for my seventh graders did for the sixth graders, because they will be coming to my side of the building, which they have never been on. They don't know who I am. You know what I mean? It just kind of eases that anxiety for students. And again, it gives them some familiar faces. So when the next school year starts, yes, they're still nervous, but it's like, okay, I met this person already. Okay. So let's just do a recap of some things that are coming up that you need to be aware of, parents and teachers. Okay. So quarter, depending on where your child is at, goes to attend school, they are either already in quarter 3 or they are about to go into quarter 3, because quarter 2 is just about over. We are more than halfway through the school year. Okay, we are more than halfway through the school year, so be mindful of that. Report card conferences are coming up. Some schools have about maybe, I think, 2 more report cards. Some schools may have 1. They may, because they may do terms. So you want to be sorry, that's my echo going off. You want to be mindful of that. So parents, make sure that the schools have your most updated contact information, your phone number, as well as your email. And make sure you check your emails. I can't stress this enough. Check your emails. Teachers send reminders. You can schedule your reminders. You can do it all on a Monday. Just schedule all depending on the day of the week you do it, you can schedule all your reminders so they can just go out, at the day and time that you want them to. So it's not like you have to do it every day. Schedule out your emails, schedule out your reminder emails. You can do the same thing with your IEP meetings, all of that. Okay. Progress report reporting is coming up again for students that have an IEP. So in some places, you will have one progress report with all of the input on one report for your child's goals. And some places, the related service providers will do one report, and then the academic goals will be on a different report. But so just keep a lookout for that. You may get it electronically, or you may physically get a physical copy of it. They may send it home with your child. Okay. So check your child's book bag. Okay. And if you prefer to receive things electronically, let the case manager know, or whoever handles the special education at your child's school, give them that. Let them know that you want the report sent electronically. State benchmarks are coming up. State exams are coming up. So make sure if your child has an IEP that they have testing accommodations that are working for them. You want to make sure that they are included in because there's always a main parents, and let's give you a heads up. There's always a main list for testing accommodations where all the kids who get testing accommodations, they're on that list, who's going to be their proctor and what their testing accommodations are. Also, if your child has a 504 plan and they get testing accommodations, you want to make sure that they are included, in the included on the testing list. Okay. Also, you want to make sure any transitioning that needs to take place. You want to make sure if your child is in high school or will be turning the age of 14, you want to make sure that the transition plan that's in place in the IEP is reflecting the things that they are interested in doing after high school. And if your child is graduating this year from high school or will be graduating from high school maybe in another year, you want to make sure that those agencies and supports that they need after high school are, listed in their transition plan. You want to make sure that stuff is in place before your child graduates. And if you need help with that, contact your child's case manager, contact the guidance counselor at your school, because they can tell you what programs and resources are available in the county that you live, and get you connected with some support if your child needs that. Also, if your child is leaving one school and going to another school, so like going from middle school to high school, or elementary school to middle school, or just switching buildings, you want to see if, hey, can you take a trip there? Can your child take a trip there to, familiarize themselves with the building, familiarize themselves with the case manager, or whoever will be handling their documents and their paperwork. Okay, so those are just some tips for you guys of events that will be coming up for you to be aware of. Check your emails. Parents, I can't stress it enough for you. Please check your emails and make sure the school has updated communication information for you. Okay, please. So as always, follow me, Jamia, the IEP Coach, at the IEP Coach LLC on all platforms, on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, also on TikTok as well. And we have the Coaching Corner every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are catching the replay, please make sure you put hashtag replay in the comments so I know you are watching the replay, and tag someone if you feel this live is important for them, this information was important for them. Please tag them in the chat. Also, one last thing, I'm going to be doing a series called Their Voices Matter, and I'm going to be highlighting different individuals. Like for the month of January, I'm just highlighting parents regarding their journey through the special education process, getting an IEP for their child. What changes do you feel needs to be made to the special education process, the IEP process, and what are some things that you learned along the way? So if you are interested, please definitely send me a DM or message me, so that way, and this is going to be a live, so if you don't mind being live on the live, please definitely DM me your email, so that way I can send you the Calendly link, so you can pick the day that you would like to do it. It's going to be on Sunday. So definitely you can comment on the post that I have about it, or you can comment in the story that I have about it, and we can go from there. Definitely DM me, tell me that you're interested, DM me your email, and I will send you the Calendly link. Okay. So thank you all so much, and you all have a great night, and Happy New Year again.